Jesus Christ be praised.
And another thing. Have you met the local lord?
Sir Hanush? Of course. He's a jovial sort and doesn't know what fear is.
What about our Sir Radzig?
Sir Hanush gave him the whole of Perkstein for his use. He seems to be bearing up well considering all he's lost.
What about the captain of the garrison? What's he like?
Sir Bernard. A grouchy old bastard. He don't care much for us. I'd like to shove a stick up his arse. Or take out the one that's already there.
And Sir Hans Capon? Have you seen him?
Aye, I saw him. And for a young fellow, he was as drunk as... well, as a lord. Which he is, of course. All of this here belongs to him, so he can do as he damn well pleases. I reckon I'd do the same in his shoes.
How do you like Rattay?
It's well fortified and well situated. And they won't get us as easy here as they did in Skalitz. And there's everything a man could want. Armourer, swordsmith, apothecary, taverns. It could have turned out a lot worse.
How are the Skalitz refugees faring?
Oh, me and the rest of Sir Radzig's men are alright. We live at the castle and we've got everything we need. But the others are just making it day to day. And they've lost everything. It's charity and arms for them, and the locals ain't as generous as they was. God knows how much longer we'll be stuck here. It ain't good.
How do you like the new castle?
It's a fine place. About the same size as Skalitz Castle. Sir Hanush don't mind lending it to Sir Radzig, because he's got an even bigger one at the other end of town. Have you ever seen a town with two castles before?
Have you heard anything about those savages who attacked us?
I heard they're called Cumans. Sigismund brought them here from Hungary. By all accounts, we got off lightly. They say, in other places, they impaled people on spikes, skinned them alive, and even worse. Fucking heathen swine.
Thanks.
Everything's well hidden, and it won't be sprouting legs and running off.
And how are we supposed to live in the meantime? On dirt and air?
It's not that bad.
Not that bad. I woke up with a rat in my blanket. A rat.
My God, what happened to you? You look like you've been assaulted.
I think I have something that belongs to you. I found it in Skalitz.
What do you mean?
Your goblet.
Well, thank you. And just the goblet?
Just the goblet. Nothing else was there.
Someone must have got there before you. But I thank you, Henry. Not many would have helped. God be with you.
Everything you need, day or night, home or at work.
Good health to you. God be with you. God save. How may I help you, good knight? Take care.
What do you need?
Listen, wouldn't you like to move to Pribyslavitz? I need someone there who's able to read and write and do sums. If you can do that, you'd make a good merchant to handle building materials.
Well, that's nearly the same job I had at the Skalitz mines. And they were the most profitable mines for miles around.
True. We don't have any mines, of course, but if you could handle the trade, that would help me a lot.
I know enough about trade, but I won't work for nothing. What are you offering?
Be merciful.
Naturally, you'll earn coin enough. Don't tell me you want to spend the rest of your life struggling here. I know you're a fellow who recognises a good opportunity, and that's exactly what this is.
Ha! You're right about that. Very well, I'll move there. It don't look like we'll be going back to Skalitz anytime soon anyway. Goodbye.
Good health to you. See you later.
Help your neighbor.
Baked goods fresh from the oven. Come and get some. Baked goods fresh from the oven. Come and
What
get
was it
some.
I needed?
That treasure of yours you sent me to get,
Did you find it?
it belongs to Baron.
But I couldn't know that.
Well, fine. Look here, Kunesh. I can't watch you wasting away here anymore. How would you like a job?
Working for you? Where?
In Pribyslavitz. We're rebuilding the whole settlement. You could maybe work there as a woodcutter.
Oh, I could cut wood. But what's it worth to you?
What do you mean, what's it worth? I'm offering you a new life. For once in your life, swallow your pride and seize the opportunity while you still can.
It's easy for you to say. You're right, lad. Though I hate to admit it. Ever since my old woman left, I've had the devil riding on my back. But you leave me my booze. What else have I got in life? As long as there's ale to wash down the dust, I'll work for you.
All right, I'll take you.
Good health to you.
Ilishka, what's happening with Herman? Folk are saying he's on the rampage.
He's been badly treated. But you'd better talk to him about it.
Thanks.
God be with you.
What's going on? The folk in town are talking about you.
They shot on me. That's what.
What? Who did?
All of them.
Wait. Tell me again from the start.
All right, if you want. They caught Peter of Dauba, George Weiss, and a fellow named Harold that everyone calls Frost. They're scum who've been hunted for months. Now they've finally been caught, there's a big execution being prepared. Folk will come from miles around to watch.
Well, that's a good thing for you, isn't it?
It would be, if I was fucking doing it.
Isn't it the custom for you to do all the executions in Ratai?
It is. Not just the custom, but by bloody right. You're not being replaced, they said. This is just a loan of Gallows Hill.
They really did fuck you over.
My words exactly.
So who's doing the job?
They invited Executioner Heinz all the way from Kuttenberg. They say it's going to be a big show. Have I ever fucked up an execution? I always behead them in one blow. And when his lordship wants to drag out a hanging, I leave them kicking for minutes. If he wants it quick, they're stiff as soon as I drop them. And they push me aside like that, after all these years of service.
What can we do about it?
Nothing. His lordship's decided, and that's that.
Nothing? You think they should be allowed to get away with this?
Well, no, but
You have the right to executions in Ratai, don't you?
I most certainly do.
Then you're in the right. Don't tell me you can't think what to do about it.
The trouble is, they already paid the executioner and he's come here along with his assistants. We can't stop the executions, unless Heinz drops dead on the spot.
Maybe that could be arranged?
How? I'm an honorable man. What the hell are you suggesting?
I suppose not then.
Well, I never. The best thing would be if he fucked up the executions. The famous Kuttenberg executioner can't handle the job. The mob would laugh him out of town and beg me to take over. They'd never invite him here again.
Great, so how do we go about it?
The problem is, I don't know what the sentences will be. They'll only announce them just before the executions, and then it'll be too late to do anything.
Would the bailiff know more?
Maybe, but most likely only Heinz will know the sentence. I've got an idea, though. Will you help me?
Of course.
Great. Thank you, Henry.
So where should I start?
Find out from the bailiff what their crimes are, and then have a look in the Black Chronicle at the Rat House. It goes back before my time. You're bound to find records of some similar offenders in it. You need to find people who committed the same crimes, and came from the same sort of background, noble or lowborn. That way you can find out what the appropriate punishments are. Then come back to me, and we'll work out what to do.
I'll get moving.
And Henry? They want to do the executions on my gibbet at Gallows Hill. I can hold them up for a while, but probably no more than a week.
I'll bear that in mind.
God save you, good knight. What can I do for you?
I hear there's going to be a big execution here.
There certainly is. It'll be a glorious event for our town. They'll be talking about it for years.
Who's for the chop?
The biggest outlaws and reprobates for miles around. Peter of Dauba, George Weiss, and Frost Herald.
What did they do?
What didn't they do, more like? They caused trouble all over the country.
Who's this Peter of Dauba?
A noble who lost his fortune. He's been holding up merchants for months.
That's all?
At first, but then his gang started getting bloodthirsty. They wiped out a whole squad that was hunting them. He won't walk away from this.
What can you tell me about Herald?
They call him Frost because he's always cool as ice, until he starts. I've seen plenty of killers and thugs in my day, but that one's got the devil in him.
Why?
They say the only thing that'll put a smile on his face is the sound of screaming and weeping. That beast kills for pleasure. When they caught him, he had a candle made from the arm of an infant. For luck, he said.
Christ. What about Weiss?
No one actually knows where he came from, but they say the murdering started with him. He never leaves witnesses. He'd rather wipe out a whole village than take a chance.
Thanks, Bailiff. That's all I need to know.
Good luck, then.
I need your advice.
Did you find out what they did? And did you read the Black Chronicle?
Yes.
So tell me what you found out, and I'll see what I can come up with. Just bear in mind, I can help you work it out, but you'll only find exactly what you need in the Ratai Black Chronicle. Every executioner has his own way of doing things, and this bastard might have different methods in mind.
Peter of Dauba has many murders on his soul, but he's still a nobleman. His neck is going on the block.
That makes sense. His crimes are great, but he's still a nobleman, so he gets an honorable death.
George Weiss is a bloodthirsty bastard who left a trail of corpses behind him. He hasn't earned an honorable death. He's for a long drop on a short rope.
A murderer deserves nothing better. That makes sense.
Frost Herald is the worst of them all, sent by Satan himself. The things he's done would make a demon blanch. The executioner will take his time with that one. He'll be begging to die. If I read correctly, It'll start with ripping the flesh.
Aye, could be. He deserves nothing better.
So, have we got everything we need?
We've covered all the possibilities. There's nothing more we can think up.
So, what's the plan then?
An executioner's greatest boast is to behead with one blow. That's why an executioner's sword needs to be a splendid piece of craftsmanship and sharp as a razor.
I follow you, but how can I get to the sword?
It won't be easy. The executioner's sword is one of his most valuable instruments.
Couldn't it just be switched for a different one?
He'd notice straight away. It's different than a regular sword, heavier with a blunt point. The balance is different too.
I could take yours and...
He'd recognize that too. An executioner knows his sword like the back of his hand. He'd notice as soon as he picked it up.
So I'll have to steal it, dull the blade, and put it back before anyone notices?
Yes, that's probably the only way.
That'll be interesting. And how can I dull the sword? Should I hack at a stone wall?
I thought you were a blacksmith, son. It's enough to cock up the honing. That will make much less noise.
That'll do me.
With ripping of the flesh, the bastard has to suffer, but survive as long as possible.
So, if Herald drops dead right at the start...
The executioner will look like a fool.
But how can I make sure it happens?
I don't know. It depends on the skill of the executioner. An experienced one starts in places where there's no threat of heavy bleeding. The sides, the chest.
And the Kuttenberg executioner is definitely experienced.
No doubt. They use a kind of special tongs, and in between the ripping, the convict's wounds are treated so he can take more.
What if I get the one who's supposed to dress the wounds drunk?
Don't do that. It could be someone from Ratai, and even if it isn't, the blame wouldn't fall on the executioner.
Maybe the tongs could be spiked with something nasty.
And you'd know what to use?
I know a little, and I might be able to get something.
That would work. Good idea, Hal.
That'll do me. What about the hanging?
If the rope breaks when it's done, it's an unbelievable disgrace for the executioner. Folk see it as the will of God, and sometimes he even has to let the condemned man go.
What about switching it?
That could work. I've got an old rope here I don't use anymore. It looks fine, but it's run. It'll be perfect.
Great, I'll use that. Supposing I just cut it?
I doubt it would work. The executioner will check it before the hanging when he's preparing the gallows. He'd probably notice.
I could shoot the rope through from a distance with an arrow.
Don't be daft. No, you couldn't.
But I'm...
Where did you get such a stupid idea? From some wench? Even if you somehow hit it, that rope's much too strong.
Well...
And even if you did manage to shoot it through, do you really think nobody would notice?
Maybe it's not the best plan I've ever come up with.
I certainly hope not.
That'll do me. Thanks.
Good God, what happened to your clothes?
The Lord watch over you.
That should do it. He'll never hold the weight of a grown man. About the executions.
Is it done? Can I let them get on with the executions now?
Yes.
Now all we have to do is go and enjoy the show.
Into your hands, Lord, I commend my spirit. In the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, who redeemed me by his precious blood, have mercy on me and lead me to eternal glory. Amen.
What the f...
Stop for a bit. I'll just give you a quick search.
Are you deaf? What's going on?
Such are my orders.
If you insist.
Are you yanking my pizzle? Hand over all the stolen goods you have. I'll be keeping an eye on you. Now you can enter.
Did you see that? An utter disgrace.
It certainly was. The executioner couldn't hold his head high after that.
True. The whole crowd was looking forward to it, and right at the start he fucked up the beheading. And then he took the tongs and... and the fellow kicked the bucket right away. Jesus, how he gaped. and then furious as a rabid dog. Furious, he grabs the last one. And he wasn't even able to hang him. I'll be forever grateful to you, Hal. You saved my job, and you deserve a reward for it.
Thank you. Can you help me with training my dog?
Certainly.
I'd like to practice.
All right. Now.
Can you help?
Certainly.
I'm in.
All right. Now.
Damn it, I'm hungry.